Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're enjoying your day so far, and I thought it was about time we looked through some professional Call of Duty player classes once again. It's been a couple of weeks now since the game has launched. The pro player classes have changed quite significantly over the last 7 days or so, and potentially more weapon balancing updates to come in coming days, but I'll try and keep you guys updated on everything that is going on. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much for doing that. We're going to be talking about this scouting series as well in a couple of minutes time here, but first of all, let's hop into these classes. So this entire article is available at breakingpoint.gg. I'll leave a link for you guys down below if you guys want to go there, copy everything, check out everything as it is right now. I'm not sure exactly why that wasn't rendering for me. Let's go through things then. So today we're going to be going through the AK74u, the MP5, the Krig, the AK47, and some other weapons as well, including the sniper rifles, what the pros are using right now, what you guys might want to try out on your classes as well to make the best of what they are using, because there's a lot of attachments to this game. It's pretty difficult to get your head around exactly what you should be using, but yeah, this is what the pros are going for right now, and I'll give my opinion along the way on exactly what I've been using, what I think works, what I think doesn't work. So the AK74u to start things off with, this is what Scump is using on his 74u right now. Certainly the dominant SMG over the past week or so. When the game first came out, it seemed to be most people were using the MP5 and the AK47 as the SMG assault rifle. Now it seems to be the AK74u and the Krig. So this is what Scump's class looks like. He's got the Spetsnaz compensator on. I believe this is the one that it increases your control of your vertical recoil but decreases your control of your horizontal recoil, which I'm not actually too much of a fan of, and I'll talk about that exactly why in a second. The reinforced barrel, the skeletal stock, seems to be the one that most of the pros are going with the exception of Envoy. We'll look at that in a second, but yeah, skeletal stock I believe is the way to go. The grew elastic wrap as well is certainly the way to go, enabling you to drop shots, and the rest of the attachments are pretty much up in the air, but I would certainly use skeletal and elastic, and the other two attachments I'm going to recommend we'll talk about in a second, and well, we'll have a look at how it just changes some classes in a second. This is what aBeZy and Simp are using, and this is pretty much what I would go with right now. So you've got the skeletal stock, you've got the elastic wrap, the grew elastic wrap, then you've got the muzzle brake. So in my opinion, it's better to have the muzzle brake than the Spetsnaz compensator. That is because the muzzle brake reduces your vertical recoil by 4%, but it doesn't have any other downsides. And the problem is really with the compensator is that it reduces your vertical recoil, but it actually increases your horizontal recoil. And horizontal recoil is more difficult to control going side to side, whereas you can just pull down effectively to control vertical recoil. So in my opinion, I don't like the downsides of the compensator, therefore I prefer the muzzle brake, and I'm going to be talking about that as well in the weapons we talk about when we're looking at the assault rifles. They use the full grip, so just a standard full grip, and then the task force barrel. The task force barrel is the very interesting one. This increases your damage range by a lot, increases your bullet velocity, definitely makes the AK74u hit a lot harder than it would otherwise. So this definitely makes it a close range powerhouse. However, it does increase your recoil by a lot, and it's very noticeable, the recoil increase when you put the task force on, so definitely is something to be getting used to. I think you can go either way on using the task force, or maybe something like the extended or something like the reinforced barrel on this weapon, because the task force definitely makes this weapon hit a lot harder up close. If you're looking for close range combat, this is the way to go, but you will have to get used to the recoil. It's pretty difficult to manage at long range, but yeah, it's kind of like the PPSH in World War II, but quite significantly more difficult to control. You have to pull down quite a lot on this one. So this is certainly something you might want to try out. Try it with the task force, maybe try it with reinforced, try it with extended. Just see what you think. But pretty much everything else on the weapon is good. I think that, yeah, certainly for long range combat, if you're trying to make a 74u class that actually is more of a flex weapon and not just good up close, then probably you want to try something like the extended barrel. But the task force is definitely going to give you more stopping power, and in close range, it is going to be the difference in a lot of gunfights, extending that 4-shot kill range out quite significantly, because it's not too great on the 74u. So this is what a lot of pros were using right now, but as I say, definitely going to take some getting used to. And Attach pretty much uses exactly the same thing, because, well, this is his class from a couple of days ago. He just mentioned in yesterday's video that now he's actually using the task force barrel as well, and the grew elastic wrap, but he decides to go for the Spetsnaz grip instead of just the standard foregrip like some of the other guys are using. So it definitely seems like on the grip side, yeah, things can get a little bit different, but most of the pros now are using the task force and the grew elastic wrap, of course. And well, the rest of the classes, you can see, the pros have decided to gentleman's agreement the perk greed, and the other wildcard, I think the gunfighter wildcard isn't necessarily gentleman's agreemented, but pretty much they don't decide to use it. 5 attachments is enough here over on the AK74u. They're using the tactical mask, the gung-ho, and ninja in terms of the perks, and Semtex stun grenades. If you guys want to build out the rest of your class, this is what these guys are using. And yeah, let's go on to Envoy as well. So he's using slightly different. He's using the no stock attachments, but yeah, everything else is very much pretty similar to what the rest of the guys are using. Let's talk about the MP5 then. This is certainly another weapon which is still viable. Shotzzy and Co have still been using it on occasion. Seems to do pretty well on a map like Crossroads, for example, if you guys are playing competitive play. Definitely still viable on occasion, but the 74U seems to be the way to go for the most of the professional players right now. So this is what, well, Shotzzy's using on his. So he's got the infantry compensator, the Raider stock. Definitely, I think the Raider stock is the way to go. The speed grip, the elastic wrap, certainly I would recommend. And then the extended barrel, slightly different this class to how you want to build your AK74U, but this is certainly one very viable way to go about it. Perk utility build, as you can see, very, very similar to what we just looked at with the other classes. Envoy as well continuing, so the reinforced barrel, the no stock, the speed grip, the jungle style mag, and the elastics. This is another way you can go even without any muzzle attachments on this one. So certainly some great classes here, there's no doubt about that. Let's then talk about the assault rifle. So the Krig seems to be the dominant assault rifle in the game right now. This is what Illey is using on his, and I definitely think that 3 of these are 100% the way to go. The Millstop is, in my opinion, the best red dot in the game. That's the one that I would be using. I find the other ones ugly and intrusive. This is like a more traditional Black Ops 2 style, Black Ops 3 style almost red dot type type attachment on your weapon. The Raider pad seems to be the best stock in my opinion. The final one down tends to be the best on most of these weapons. The Grew elastic wrap I also really like once again on this, allowing you to drop shots, gives you some other benefits as well. And yeah, definitely very beneficial in my opinion to be able to go prone without having that issue of you put your hand down and all that kind of stuff, which this does get rid of. Obviously an effort to unlock in public matches and stuff, but if you guys are playing competitive game battles, all this type of stuff, then well, this is certainly the way I would go in my opinion. The other two, I think you can mix it up. But again, I'm going to say that, in my opinion, I prefer the muzzle brake than the infantry compensator. Because this, yes, it reduces your vertical recoil by a lot, but it does increase, your horizontal recoil. And on something like the Krig, you have like no vertical recoil anyway. So I don't really want to increase my horizontal recoil at all, because that's the only thing that can be somewhat, maybe a little bit more difficult to deal with. So in my opinion, once again, I do just go for the muzzle brake here. And I think you see similar thing on Cellium's class. I'm pretty sure this Cellium class is exactly what I use, with the muzzle brake, the field agent grip, the Millstop, the Raider pad, and the elastic wraps. This is what I would recommend. And if you want to go for the 8 attachments, there's certainly some other things that can be beneficial on this one. But a lot of the time, the stopping power of this is pretty good anyway. You probably don't need too much in terms of the barrel attachment. And yeah, if you want to chuck a 40 round mag on, that is also can be quite beneficial. Here's the AK47 then. So this is what Octane's using on his. He's absolutely kitted it out with the Microflex, the Skeletal, the Elastic Wrap, the 40 rounder, the RPK, the Spetsnaz grip, the compensator at the front. So yeah, this is what he's using on his. There's also another class here from Shotzzy, so this is only with 5 attachments if you want to go down this route. The Millstop, the Liberator, the Spetsnaz grip, the Skeletal, and the Elastic Wrap as well. So you can see a lot of, the Millstop, the Skeletal, the Elastic Wrap, the Spetsnaz grip, pretty common along a number of these weapons. So yeah, certainly if you're trying to add different weapon that you're not seeing exactly here, that's probably another direction you guys want to move in for that as well. And just to finish off talking about the classes, we have this as well. So on the Tundra side, the M16 also is this video from Octane, but it's geared in competitive play. But I will leave everything linked down below for you guys regardless. This is what Simp is using on his sniper rifle if you guys want to copy this. So the Stabilizer, the Tiger Team, the Infiltrator, the Jungle, and the Raider. So yeah, this is what he's using on his Tundra. So yeah, if you guys want to, take advantage of this to try and be as good as Simp with the sniper rifle, this is one direction you can potentially go. So to finish out the video, I wanted to talk about this scouting series. Yesterday they emailed out all the invites to the top 128 players with the most pro points from Modern Warfare. What's kind of interesting about this is a number of players that aren't necessarily actually in the Pro League. We're still getting invites that aren't going to be playing competitive play at all anymore, which means that there's a number of amateurs that missed out on being the top 64 in each region for the scouting series that's coming up. I think it's like the 15th to the 19th or something of December. So in a couple of weekends time, that's when a lot of the pro teams are going to be looking at this and trying to figure out who they pick up as their substitute player. It's effectively like some sort of scrim series where the coaches of the professional teams get to pick what exactly what amateur players they have on their roster, I suppose, for that just a couple of days. But interestingly, of course, a number of big name players, I think Cruz, for example, had missed out on getting the email, but I'm sure he will get in, given the fact that a lot of players getting emails for this are just not going to be competing. Right, so Tommy says I got an invite. JCap as well started getting an invite, and JCap's certainly not going to be playing the upcoming season, so I doubt he's going to be attending the scouting series. But yeah, Blast gets it, and I think if you're a Pro League substitute, you didn't get it. So Sibilant says he doesn't have one, and yeah, Crone's I don't think any CDL subs got an invite, because if you're someone like Chino, for example, or Nero Poison already signed as a substitute to Los Angeles Guerrillas, for example, they're not going to give you an invite to the scouting series, because the whole idea of the scouting series is to find someone to actually be picked up to these teams as a substitute if you're already a substitute, then, you know, why are you going to this event? And just a final thing to finish off the video, this came out from the Royal Ravens yesterday, announcing Josh Richards and Griff Johnson joining the Rich Global family. Certainly interesting. A couple of weeks ago, we saw Vicstar joining London Royal Ravens as a co-owner. That certainly makes sense. Like, Vicstar went to university in London. He's, well, been around the UK for a long time. Very prominent Call of Duty YouTuber, of course, on the Warzone side as well. But these guys, not really too sure who they are. And, yeah, it just seems like an interesting decision to me from the Royal Ravens going down this route of, okay, we're bringing on some investment, we're bringing on some co-owners. But, yeah, from some of these, I mean, these guys have a crazy amount of followers. Quite remarkable to me, quite what TikTok is capable of. But, yeah, certainly an interesting decision here. I think a lot of Call of Duty fans are applying to this one, saying, like, who are these guys? And where are the twins that Scraps and Waskin on your roster, which you got rid of course, after the Modern Warfare season. But certainly intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm and know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Hope you learned something new. Take care, and I will see you next time.